Okay, so I guess we'll get going. So my name is Mer, and I've been a student for a while. Not in Santa Fe, though. I actually live in California. So I'm an hour ahead of you, um, or behind you, rather. Sorry. Um, and I've been around the FPMT for a while. So most recently at Land of Medicine Buddha, I was the director there. So here I am, not the director anymore. So I have time to do things like lead some meditations and that kind of thing. So I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for coming. Um, so I guess we'll just start with our posture. And I'm kind of I try to just be as comfortable as I can on my sit bones. And if you're in a chair, just make sure that your feet are firmly on the ground because that helps kind of ground you when you're doing the practice. Um, and, I mean, there's a lot about the different points of meditation that are probably you can learn from somebody much more experienced than I with meditation. But I think the main thing is just really visualizing your spine like a cord, like you're just pulling a cord up. So all the discs are just one on top of the other. And then you can lean your head just a little bit forward. And that usually gives you kind of a comfort in your shoulders and releases some things there if you get tall and then lean a little bit forward. So just start there. And again, if you're in a chair, you can put your feet just firmly on the ground with that tall spine. And if you're in a chair, it's good not to lean back into the chair because this is a short 30 minutes, so it goes by pretty quickly. But if you were doing any longer meditation, you might fall asleep. So it's good to keep your back away from the back of the chair if you're sitting up in a chair. So we'll start tonight just by taking some full inhalations and exhalations. I usually start with 3 and just really full all the way into your lungs, down to the bottom. And then a complete exhale. And as you're doing just a few more inhalation and exhalations, you can try to find a little bit of stillness within yourself. After rushing through your day, this can really ground you. So the practice we're doing tonight is a purification practice, and it's Vajrasattva we're using as our object. And, if you're not acquainted with Vajrasattva, you can think of Buddha Shakyamuni like in the visualization, whatever kind of is going to give you that feeling of goodness. And some people even just use something like white light. It's good to think about white, it's pure, clear. So it's up to you there, but we are using Vajrasattva as the base. So, and when we get to the mantra part of the practice, um, I am going to try to put that up on the screen for you. I'm hoping that you all have the practice in front of you, or at least the mantra. I'm going to do that once we get started here. And you can recite that, either the long or the short mantra when we get to that part. So the first part is based on the whole practice is based on the 4 opponent powers. And the first part is the power, is the power of regret. So, when we're thinking about regret, the important thing is to think about, we're not thinking about guilt, we're thinking about regret. And we're also thinking about this from the perspective of karma, really. So everything that we experience is due to our past karma. And so any negative things that we're experiencing is due to past negative karma ripening. So we know then logically that we don't want to experience negative things. So we want to purify those things. And the point isn't that there's any sort of being who's absolving us from our sins or anything like that, but it's more about training our minds, and changing our minds. So we want to think about it from that perspective. So the regret that we have is regret that we've created negativities, and we definitely don't want to experience the results of those negativities. So we want to think about it in those terms. And so for me, like, generating the regret is really one of the most juicy bits of purification, because I found that when I'm able to generate a genuine feeling of regret, that it makes my resolve, which is the 4th power, that much stronger. So I really try to think through, and you can think about it on a daily basis. If you're doing this practice every evening, you can think about just what's happened to you that day, not happened to you, excuse me, but what you've experienced that day and how you've handled that. And so you want to start thinking about non-virtues when you start doing this practice. The 3 non-virtues of body, the 4 of speech, and the 3 of mind. And I'll just run through those quickly, just so they're top of mind as you're generating regret. So the 3 of body are killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And the 4 of speech are lying, harsh words, divisive speech, and idle chatter. And the 3 of mind are covetousness, ill will, and wrong view. So you can start to think about those and generating regret for any of those non-virtues you have, that have come up for you today, or this week, or however long it's been since you've last purified. And, I don't know, for some of us, that could be a really long time. I even like to, when I'm generating regret, sometimes think about things that I might have done in a past life. Like when I think about killing, I think about, maybe if I was a tiger or an animal that killed other animals. So I generate regret in that way. And, of course, some people don't think about past lives, and you're just thinking about this week, and that's totally fine too. I mean, it's just like, it's a personal thing, the purification, whatever's going to generate this feeling of regret for you. is the most important thing. And knowing that you don't want these negative karmic seeds to ripen. So you're going to generate regret, so that you can purify. So we'll just take a few minutes to think about that a little bit, and maybe you could think about one or two specific things that will really help you generate this strong feeling of regret. So you can think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body, my speech, and my mind. And I don't want any future suffering. I'm tired of suffering. And so, therefore, what can I do? How can I purify? So, because we're using Vajrasattva as the base of our practice, we can visualize Vajrasattva on the crown of our head. So I've shared my screen so that you can see a picture of Vajrasattva. So we use the power of reliance. So we're going to rely on the Buddha, who has the methods that we can use to help us purify. So again, it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us, but we purify ourselves by relying on the Buddha's methods. So you can visualize Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And again, you can also visualize just blissful white light, radiant white light, if that feels more comfortable for you too. And as you can see from the image of Vajrasattva, you see Vajrasattva is depicted as a very young, beautiful, around 16 years old, they say. White light, blissful. The eyes are long, peaceful, and full of love and compassion. And we can just, I'll recite this short prayer of refuge. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can just think about the white light, goodness, compassion, these kinds of things. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely on other beings, namely the beings that we've harmed and those who have harmed us, and we need to develop compassion for them. So you can think in particular of the people that you've harmed recently and in the past. In fact, all beings that you may have harmed since beginningless time, and those that have harmed you. And just make a really strong wish at this point that this practice of purification is for the sake of all these beings, both those you've harmed and those who have harmed you in the past. So then we go to the power of the remedy, which is the third power. So this is like the medicine, and it's the actual practice of purification. So this consists of the visualization, which you can see the picture there, and then the recitation of the mantra. And so we're going to do the long mantra, or you can also do the short mantra. Since we're not in the same room, it's easier to do whatever you prefer. I'm going to recite the long mantra, and if you can recite along with me, or you can just recite the short mantra yourself. And I'm going to put the mantra on the screen so that you can see it, just in case you don't have it there. So when we start with the first purification of the body, we think Vajrasattva on the crown of our head. And then coming down from Vajrasattva is this beautiful, blissful white light. And it enters the crown of your head and goes through your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps coming and coming and coming and forces out whatever negativities of body in the form of this dark liquid that comes out of the lower part of your body and just sinks into the earth and dissipates. So we're going to recite the mantra, the long mantra, 3 times. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopatita Dido Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Me Pariyatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Chirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopatita Dido Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Me Parayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Safa Ahum. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopatita Dido Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Chirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. So then you can think that anything you've done that caused harm with your body has been completely purified. So then Guru Vajrasattva, we're going to work on purifying our speech now, which is something that we so often create negativities around. So really important, purifying the speech. So we visualize Vajrasattva on the crown of our head. And then there's this powerful white nectar coming from Vajrasattva and enters the crown of your head. Again, fills your whole body. Up, 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 up. And this time it's forcing up to the top of your body all the negativities of speech. And so it's coming out the pores in your upper part of your body, and they just disappear into space. So as that nectar fills you, all the negativities of speech are purified completely. So we'll do 3 long mantras. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Danopa Tita Dito Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Me Prayatsa Sarvakarma Sutsame Shrim Shrim Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tatakata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Danopa Tita Dito Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Me Prayatsa Sarvakarma Sutsame Chirim Shirim Kurum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dhanava Sukaya Mebawa Subukaya Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Me Prayasa Sarvakarma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Te. So you can feel really happy and pleased that your speech is now completely purified. So then the purification of the mind. So Guru Vajrasattva again on the crown of our head. And the light enters your crown chakra and fills your entire being again. And just as the light from Guru Vajrasattva hits your heart chakra, the negativity is dispelled. It's like a light switch, dink. And then all of a sudden, all those negativities are purified. And there's not one atom left of those negativities of the mind. So we'll say again 3 of the long mantras. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Danopa Tita Dito Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Me Prayatsa Sarvakarma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tita Dito Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Mebrayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhama Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Dita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Mebrayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhama Samaya Sattva Ahum Te. So again, you can feel delighted, happy that all your delusions and negativities of mind have been purified, totally gone, totally vanished. And then we're going to do one last time 3 long mantras for the purification of the imprints of negativity. So this is like the teeny tiniest little subtlest imprints of negativities. So we'll recite the mantra 3 times again to purify all those negative imprints. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tita Dito Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Mebrayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhama Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Mebrayatsa Sarva Karma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhama Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakto Mebawa Sarva Sarva Karma Sutsame Shirim Shirim Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhama Samaya Sattva Ahum Te. So now you can feel super purified. Even the subtlest obscurations have been removed. So then we can go to the 4th power, which is the power of resolve. So this one is the determination not to create more negative karmas of the body, speech, and mind. And of course, we want to avoid making a vow that we can't keep. So sometimes when it's something I know is very easy for me to create negativities, mostly with speech, I'll even say, I'm committing to the next hour or the next 5 minutes that I won't use harsh words or I won't gossip. Others that are a little bit easier for my mind, I might say, I'm going to make a commitment and a determination not to engage in something like killing or sexual misconduct, because that's just easier for me until I'm going to say until tomorrow morning. So whatever vow you make, try to make it kind of a realistic vow. So you can just take a minute to think about that. Especially you can use whatever you were thinking about at the beginning, like if it was, something that came up for you today, you can think about that particular negativity when you're doing your resolve at the end of the practice. So we can also think now Guru Vajrasattva is delighted that we're engaging in the practice. So Vajrasattva melts into white light. And again, if Guru Vajrasattva doesn't feel comfortable and you're just visualizing a white light, you can just visualize that white light dissolving into you and absorbing through your crown and thinking that you're being blessed by the goodness, whether it's the goodness of the Buddha or just goodness in general. So this goodness is mixing with your own goodness, inner goodness. So at the end of the practice, we'll do just a short dedication because it looks like I went over a little bit. I'm sorry. I do this on my own and I don't usually time myself. So I think, do we have, oh no, we don't have oh, here we go. So we can just do this dedication together, just the dedication prayer here that's on the screen. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may bodhicitta, from which the happiness of all sentient beings comes, be generated in the minds of self and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second. And that which has been generated, may it increase. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may emptiness be generated in the minds of self and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second. And that which has been generated, may it increase. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may I, who am empty from my own side, achieve Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's enlightenment, which is empty from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are empty from their own side to that enlightenment, which is empty from its own side, as quickly as possible by myself alone. And then we can just quickly do the long life prayer for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, that all of his holy wishes will be actualized. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers, honoring the 3 jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. So thanks for purifying with me tonight. It was nice to have some friends here. And I'll see you maybe next Thursday. I'll be here if you're here at 9:15 your time and 8:15 my time. So have a good week.